In this video, I'm going to cover how to add a form to your website, like a contact form style form, and how to edit that form and add questions and all of that. Now this form is in what we call an email form, which means that simply when someone fills it out, then it takes the contents of the form and emails it to you. So I have a blank page opened up here. We'll do add element, and then one of the elements on here is a contact form. Let's see, contact form. And even if this isn't going to be on the contact page or whatever, then contact form is the right one to use. So the basics, just to get started, are, it automatically has the kind of default contact form information that you might want to have in there. I'm going to hit done on this so you can see it. Name, email, a phone, message, and then a button to send message. This is the title. When I edit it, then we click on it and hit edit. We're back to the screen. Now there is something that has to happen before you use it, which is under submission settings. You need to check and make sure that you have your email address set in there. The subject line, I recommend that you have something that's a little more clear than form message, something that says like, email message from the specific site. This is the subject that'll come through when you get the email with the information from the contact form. And I won't get into the tracking side of things and stuff at this point. It does let you redirect to a page, so if you want to have a thank you page, then you can do that. You can see there's a thank you message, which is the default. It'll just change into a message that says thanks for contacting us, or if there's an error, it'll give them an error. You can see that there's some integrations. Again, I won't get into that. That's just a little too technical for this one. You can edit the form, the different items, and one of the key things they'll do is make it required or not required. You can also put in a placeholder, so text that would go in there. So example, enter your name. This is especially if you wanted to have it without the field, but see how it says enter your name now, and then but you can, well, this is, if I click preview, you can still type in there, but it gives that like a note about what the field is for. Edit. And then if you want to add fields, then you will have, you just click on this here where it says add new field. And there are a few different kinds of fields that you can add. This is the title of it. This is a new field. You can do text, which is pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. Just a little box for people to enter text into. A drop down, again, you have option. You put each option on a new line. So like yes, no, maybe. And you'll notice this thing that says start new line. I'm not going to talk about that quite yet. We're going to talk about the layout in a second, and this is kind of with the layout. And then you just hit save and that adds it. If you want to change the order of them, you can do that in here. So like you'd have this be towards the top as an example. And then let's look at the other ones that you can add. Radio buttons, same thing as options, it's just a different layout. Radio 1, radio 2, Save. Add another field. We have you can do a date, which will make it so that as that calendar pop up when you click on it. You can do a file attachment, which allows people to upload a file, and it sends it as an attachment. You can do time, which just is a format thing. It'll have a time, and you can check if you want it to be a 24-hour clock or not. Long text is the bigger box of text, like the comment field there. And then phone number, it'll have a that has to do with how it checks to see if someone's entered it in. So if you choose phone number instead of text for the field, then if someone enters in like words into it, text, then it'll give them an error message. And then number, which only allows for numbers to be in there. So some of this has to do with the clarification of how it gets checked to see if they've entered in something reasonable or not. We'll put the file attachment to show you what that field looks like. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you in this one is this add CAPTCHA validation. And I recommend that, but it's up to you. That makes it so that it's harder for programs to spam you. Bots, what are called bots, or robots. Done. So you can see we have some of these different kinds of fields, but it doesn't look great right now because of the way that everything is mashed together. One thing I do want to show you is that the radio buttons do show up one on top of another, and that kind of changes how you're going to whether you'll use that or not. Oh, I should check one other thing in here. I think I might have missed one thing with the radio buttons. Radio. Nope, I guess not. I thought maybe it would have checkboxes. I didn't do checkboxes. So the difference with checkboxes and radio buttons is that checkboxes, you can check multiple items. So now manipulating the way this looks is a little tricky, but it's not, once you get used to it, it's not bad. You can do edit layout, and edit layout lets you manipulate both the size and the position of the different fields. Now with the size side, I'm going to drop this little arrow, will drop it down, so it'll say okay, we want to drop. And what it's doing is it's doing the same thing as that checkbox where it says start a new line at this field. When you're resizing them, it has stopping points. So you can't choose just a very, like I can't make it just this big. It's going to be, there's a coding reason why it stops at different points. Which I won't get into, but it has to do with having the fields interact with each other. So, you can make it as long as the whole form, or what it is it's like a fifth of the size of the whole form, or a third, or a sixth. So anyhow, and then so you can adjust the sizes. You can adjust. I should note too here, like I can't bring this one up because there's no room for it. So let's say I move this and make this smaller. So now I can bring this up. and I get to a point, I can get to a point where this gets to the edge, but I can't adjust this field. It won't automatically adjust this field. So if I want to adjust this one so it's bigger, I'm at the end, so I either have to bring it down to the bottom, or I need to first resize some of these to make room. So and you might feel like you should be able to drag them, but you can't drag them. So I will say that for the order side, it is a little easier to do it in the edit screen. And then also, you just click outside of the contact form in order to lock in your changes. There's no save box for it. So like I said, the order, like if you go back to layout here, you see layout, these don't have top arrows either. And that's because this is taking up a whole line. But really, what we'd want to do is bring this up here. So getting past the message isn't easy to do that way. So you could resize this down, and then you can move them around. But the easier way to change the order would be to just go in here, edit, and then you can grab onto these dots and you can drag the stuff around. So you can drag it up past the message, and in general, I think that's the easier way to select the order, and that's the good first step, although the order is going to be somewhat determined by potentially by the layout. So you want to have the layout like this. Doesn't look good, but this gives us a starting point, and then you can do edit layout, and you can bring these down. Bring that up, and then you have all these ones together. I'd probably bring this down, bring this up, and then I think it looks best if you can get these fields so that they pretty much fill up the screen. So I would personally match these up so that they're about half, so they're half like this, something like that. So that's the basics of setting up a form. You'll notice too there's another option here which it shows up under both under edit, and there's, when you click on the form, there's form responses, and the form responses will actually download a CSV file, which is basically a spreadsheet. It can be opened in Excel or Google Sheets or whatever, and then it'll give you a list of all the people who've filled it out, and all the content that they put in. I think that gives you enough to get started. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. I appreciate your time. Thanks.